Hello, everyone, and welcome to another INTJoseph live stream. I am back and here to play some games, relax, answer questions, and a whole bunch of other things, hopefully. So, today, while waiting for some more people to hopefully pop into this live stream, I'm just going to start off by playing a game here. Now, if you would like to join me for these live streams, I do schedule them in advance, 24 hours at least. They are regularly on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time if you're in the United States. If you're in England, being 5 hours ahead, that is really late for you at 2 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, don't envy you yet there.
Hare and hounds.
We'll just try some hare and hounds. I am not good at this. It's probably one of those games where I should be a lot better at it. But no matter which side I play as normally, it's kind of difficult. It's really simple. Basic idea is that you have the rabbit that's trying to get past dogs, and each of the pieces can only move one space at a time, and only to the space that is adjacent on the lines. The difficulty is that the dogs, whoever's playing as them, the hounds, can only move one at a time and one space at a time. I'm getting blockaded in. This isn't good. I think I'm already... Well, that was good. I already lost. Not good at all. Well, might as well try that again. I'm going to see if I can do what the AI did and win as the hounds. Let's see here. Seems to be capturing this middle space is kind of the trick. Ooh. And the hounds can only move forward. Yeah, hounds can't move back. So once they're moved forward, and the rabbit wins. Alright. I have been beaten twice, so let's Let's try this again as the hare. Oh boy. Well, 3 losses is not good. So, do something that's a little easier for me to do.
Backgammon.
We'll play backgammon. Backgammon is really one of those fun classic old games that you really can't go wrong with. I actually should have raised the AI level up. See who gets to go first. I get to go first. And I also first on the line for movement. Okay. Actually, there we go. Oh, I understand. I kind of goofed there. Oh well, we'll just go with it. Alright, so I rolled doubles, which multiplies what I get to do. And one more move. There we go. Off to a good start, at least. Six. There we go. rolled 6 again. Interesting. Obviously, this is just going to come down to who rolls the highest numbers first. Alright, now I can start bringing them home. Alright. The AI on the normal difficulty loves to take its time and not just start putting them into the home. It wants to just take its time and slowly move them all as close as it can, which is not strategically sound. The best thing to do is always put in as many as you can into home as fast as you can. was wasting time doing that. I got all of mine in. Ah, F. Welcome to the live stream. I am doing a lot better. I had actually all of my wisdom teeth removed all at once. So 4 in one go. It was a little rough, but I am doing a lot better. I can talk normally now, so I will be recording new videos and getting those out as quickly as I can. Thank you for asking. About 300 million people know how to play backgammon. So there is a bit of lag here, I believe, with my internet, but what we can do, if you would like to, F, is we can try playing Connect 4 like we did last time. Okay.
4 in a row.
And here we go. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to be picky. I'm going to start right in the middle. Yes, we'll just stick with the same thing we did last time. 1 through 7, 1 being all the way to the left, and 7 being the furthest to the right. That way it's easier for everyone involved. And of course, 4 would be dead center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 3. So just to my left here. Well, I'm not going to be particularly special. I'm just going to go straight in the middle again. Middle. Okay, you're going to try and block me. Alright, let's see here. I think I am going to go right here. Gotta have some strategy involved here. This is war. Okay, 2. So right here. Alright. So I'm going to go right on top of you. 3. Okay, so right here. Now, I am going to... Yeah, I'll go right here. I will say, getting your wisdom teeth removed is an experience, to say the least. Especially all 4 all at once. Eating afterwards is not easy. And actually for several days afterwards. I'm talking like, I was probably back on a good diet about 4 days out, which is interesting. In fact, the pain that I was experiencing didn't really subside till about then, and the weird feeling in my mouth didn't completely go away until just yesterday, something like that. I'm back to feeling like my normal self, which is really weird. Wow, a whole week. That seems like that is a really long time to not be able to speak or eat properly. I actually guess I recovered very quickly then, in all things considered. So 2 here. The doctor that did the surgery for me said to take it at my own pace, but I started eating solid stuff the next day. I started eating solid, and then I just kept pushing myself little by little to eat not necessarily harder stuff, but at least more solid stuff. Oh, Jessica Rose, you made it! Congratulations! Gotta figure out my move here. Alright. I'm gonna go right here, I think. Yeah, congratulations, Jessica. And sorry, I might still be talking maybe a little bit funny because I had my wisdom teeth removed last week. That's why I didn't do the live stream. F, it is your move. And Jessica Rose, just to catch you up, we are playing Connect 4 on the Nintendo Switch. I have both controllers, but it's really easy. Wherever the other person I'm playing with, in this case F, just tells me a number, and I put the piece in whichever slot that configures with. And we've numbered the slots 1 through 7, 1 being the one furthest to the left, and 7 being the furthest to the right. So F you want right here in the middle then. Alright. I'm also going to go right in the middle. I'm not going to be very original with that move. But yeah, I am out 4 wisdom teeth all at once. Wonderful feeling. Yeah, it is. Um, I had two teeth that they call, excuse me, impacted. So one was actually on its side, pretty much like this. If this was the top of the tooth, it was on its side. And that was causing me not necessarily problems, but it was irritating me. Okay, 7 here. And because of my two bottom teeth being impacted, the two upper teeth were actually slowly descending to try and meet them and would have eventually caused me a whole lot more problems. Where do I want to go? I'm gonna go right here. Six. Okay. Let's see here. Ooh. I see you trying to be sneaky, F. I see it. I see it. I'll go right there for the moment. Oh wow, all 4 of your wisdom teeth were impacted, Jessica Rose? That I cannot even imagine. Wow. I can't even imagine just having the 2 of mine on the bottom that were impacted was bad enough, especially like I said, the one that was on its side. That's crazy. Okay, F, so 6 right here. And I'm gonna go right here. Oh boy. That sounds really weird, Jessica. I don't have a clue what they would be studying either. Honestly, a pain study though, of all things. I personally, kind of flipping that on its head, yeah, I would say that's very freaky. Flipping it on its head though for a minute, I don't take pain meds as a rule, so I try to avoid them, but I was taking pain medication while afterwards because there was no way I was going to do it. Actually, one night I didn't. It was the night, not the night immediately after the surgery, but the next night, I woke up in so much pain, and I almost could have screamed, but I didn't. That was so uncomfortable. I almost don't want to say it was pain, just it was really, really, really uncomfortable. So F, you said 3. Interesting. I am going to stick with going right here. But no, as a general rule, unless I absolutely have to, I avoid pain medicine because I have this weird little thing that if I don't feel pain, then I wonder if I'm actually alive in some cases. F you would. You caught on to what I was doing, dagnabbit. Where do I want to go now? I'm gonna go right there because I'm at a loss. Well, at least I'm not alone in that F, thank you. Topical, I don't suppose that was something, since it was topical, that would have washed off. I guess, considering... Oh. Yeah. It didn't cut it. Well, maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were trying to see if you were a zombie. Oh, F, you gave me that idea. Yeah, I'm thinking, Jessica, that they were trying to see if you were a zombie. U of M, is that University of Maine or Massachusetts? You don't have to say, never mind. There is something about mad science. Just gotta wonder how mad it is. Oh, Minnesota. Well, gee, I was wrong. Completely wrong. Okay, so 6. F, I think we're kind of getting to a stalemate point here. I'm going to put mine right there. A chili pepper topical. That's just weird. So F is yellow and I'm red. Just an FYI. The middle. Okay. Oops. There we go. Oops. No, that was right. Middle is... Alright. I'm gonna go right there. Capsaicin. Okay, yeah. So they took just pretty much the capsaicin of the pepper, made it into a topical gel, and That is so weird. That just, I mean, the bigger part of capsaicin though is if you're not got it inside your mouth, you're really not gonna feel much. That would explain more why they didn't. 5. Oh. Yeah, I win. You actually could have drawn that out just a little bit longer, but ultimately I would have won there. There was no going around that fact. Alright, would you like to do that again? Yeah, Jessica, would you like to play? Okay. And... Alright, again, you would be yellow, so I'm red. And I'm not going to do anything special. I'm just going to go right in the middle. Honestly, pain, though, can vary from person to person. Just pick a number, 1 through 7, 1 being the one furthest to the left, and 7 being the one furthest to the right. Rightest row. Okay, so 7 then. Right there. Yeah. And... interesting choice. I'm gonna go right here. But yeah, pain. I mean, everybody tolerates pain so much differently. One of my co-hosts on the podcast, Nerd Break, she actually is in pain or at least was 24/7 because of what she has going on. So, all right, 1. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're dividing and conquering. Well, I kind of did a thing. Six. And yeah. Well, okay, now I'm curious why you lost on purpose. I am so confused. So you lost on purpose so that I could win. And by letting me win, you win also. Oh, okay. I do see how that works. But what if I don't care who wins and who loses? Ah. See, I have absolutely 0 siblings. I have friends that are like siblings to me. But don't tell them that. This is starting to make my head swim now. Okay. Well, let's do this. Would either of you want to step up and try again? Ooh, I love this. You have your own unwritten rules. I have my own unwritten rules also. Maybe I should make a video on that. F, would you like to play? Oh, there are so many rules. And then I'd have to figure out which list, because I actually have 2 separate lists. I have the life list, and then I have the list of rules for retail. That one actually would probably be very controversial. I know, 2 episodes and so many choices. Okay, yeah, we can do that. What you're referring to, F, is probably dots and boxes.
Dots and boxes.
This one's going to be a little more difficult to figure out how to do it this way, but we'll figure it out. And I'll just start by making my line right here. So just a general idea where you want to put it. Thank you for the vote of confidence, Jessica. Oh, by the way, I am taking your ideas that you gave me for videos and I'm working on them. The next comedy sketch I'm probably actually going to wind up doing is going to be another 8 cognitive functions one. And it's going to be the 8 cognitive functions as waiters. So please look forward to that one. Oh, and if I can ask a personal favor, the comedy sketches that I do, while they're fun for me to do, they don't get a lot of views. So please consider sharing them for me. The right side of the first box. So let's just say right here, F. Okay. But yeah, Jessica Rose, thank you for saying that you love the cognitive functions. Comedy sketches, I appreciate it. Those take a bit more work to do. Certainly not as much as the 16 personalities, but I've done so much research on the cognitive functions that some of them kind of write themselves to a certain extent, and others it's like, how in the world am I going to get this to work comedically? It is very difficult at times. For 16 personalities, so the comedy sketches I've done is those. There's a lot of moving parts that I have to deal with. In particular, I try to hit it on the mark of how they actually are. SE is actually the easiest cognitive function to write for because it is so, it's so easy. The upper side of the second box. Okay. And F, I'm glad that you figured out how you want to pick these out, because at least I'm assuming that was right. If we're going like numbered boxes 1, 2, and so on and so forth. But extrovert sensing is the easiest of the cognitive functions to write for. It's just, if it isn't new, then it's easy to make fun of because that is SE. Yeah. I'm just gonna make a simple move right here. The cognitive functions that are actually the hardest ones to write for, going on a hypothetical here, are probably introverted thinking and introverted thinking, I would say, would be one of the hardest ones, especially. FE is really easy typically, and FI is especially easy because it's just make the character blow up. It's just that easy. So FI is really easy. TI not so much, because TI likes to just stay in the process of what's going on there. It's really hard. The right side of the last box. Oops, where am I at here? Now, when you say the last box, I assume that you're saying F right here as opposed to down here. TI, honestly, TE is the expression of ideas, outward processes. Okay. And NE is the formation of new ideas. And NE is actually kind of easier in some respects because I have a ENFP that I can draw from for inspiration. Because the way I think of NE, it's the first I think of it's extrovert. So it's something that's being displayed outwards. That part's easier. The intuition part becomes a little bit harder, but NE types typically are rapid fire ideas. They like to push out their ideas faster, whether it's talking fast or whatever. TE loves to be able to do things that are going to be a process that you can do quickly. The upper side of the fourth box in the first row. Okay, we're rocking this. Yeah. We got a system going here, F. I'm just gonna go right here. I actually, when I was trying to do research for the cognitive functions, I found this one website that unfortunately I don't remember because I have it saved on my phone and I'm constantly referencing it. And you could probably pretty easily find it just by looking up the cognitive functions. It's really informative, and I draw all my inspiration, well, at least all my information from that. The inspiration comes from elsewhere. But NI actually is a little bit harder to write for because, again, it's the introverted functions that are a little bit harder to write for because they're not readily displayed outwards like the extrovert functions are. And I say extroverted, but they call it extraverted with an A instead of with the O, which really messes with me, but that's the difference in the English language and the meaning of the words from extraverted, which is to be displayed outwards, versus extroverted, which is just, I don't even know if that's actually a real word now that I'm saying this. Oh boy. But if you really want to do it, it's a really quick Google search to look up the information. And it's so much easier to do that. And then take that information and put my comedic spin to it. Lower side of the first box. Okay, F, I'm gonna tell you something. This is actually like the worst move you can kind of make. And I'm gonna show you why. Because I can go right here on the left and close that in and I got a point. But actually, I have my phone right here. I can look up the website. So, let's see here. Oops, that's not the right one. Or is it? No, it wasn't. So of all things, it's called careerplanner.com. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. That makes sense. Thank you, Jessica, for looking that up. Because that makes a bit more sense to me. One of my right. Oh, sorry. Interpreting here. One of the things that I have a kind of a pet peeve on is the English language. It's something that I enjoy correcting. It's probably that combination of NITE, where you see a thing that's wrong and you want to fix it. Okay, this makes more sense. For my own personal use, I kind of bounce back and forth between things, but when I'm writing scripts, sometimes I'll just abbreviate the cognitive functions SE or TE because it is what it is, and especially for the videos, I think I do that. Good grief, now I don't even remember what I do. But the website I use for the information on the cognitive functions is careerplanner.com. It's actually not the only resource I use, but it's the one I reference when I need to know quickly what each of the cognitive functions do. Oh, and here I am sitting on it. It's my move. I forgot. Oh boy. I forgot that after you close on a box, you get the make the next move. Lower side of the first box, third row. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah, right here. All right, and I'm gonna go right here. Fun fact, because Frank James actually was the one that did the 16 personalities comedy sketches, I actually changed over to the 8 cognitive functions comedy sketches because I didn't want to kind of like encroach on what he was doing so well, especially since it took so much longer for me to do the comedy sketches for 16 personalities. I didn't know if I was really as good as he is at them. But then Lijo, I saw, did 8 cognitive functions. And since she doesn't do them that much, I figured I was safe in that territory of doing those without being blamed for being copying or whatever. I try not to copy people because I want to do my own original things. I don't want to be blamed for saying, oh, hey, you're copying them. Stop it. Ayush. This is actually on the Nintendo Switch. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is something that I would like to do, is teach and entertain at the same time. Ayush, this is the Clubhouse games on the Nintendo Switch. But F, it is your move. Honestly, anything can be hard to grasp, especially for somebody that's looking outside into something else. And unless you actually take the time to do some research, then you're either not going to understand it and stay that way, or you may eventually get it if you keep doing and watching. I find that I do wind up understanding eventually. It just depends on what it is. Lower side, second box, third row. So right here. Okay. I'm just going to go right here. Your move again, F. A space elevator. Wow. Oh no, F, your phone's battery is dying? That's not good. Normally I would be shutting the live stream down at 9 o'clock. I was thinking I might continue for a little bit longer anyways. Oh boy, blow up the moon. Yeah. There is that. But now maybe I should do a 8 cognitive functions comedy sketch during the apocalypse. Oh boy. That would be something. We actually haven't had a winner yet to this game because the object of it is to put in all the lines to then fill in and make boxes, and whoever winds up having the most boxes wins. And so far, I guess by that, I'm ahead by 1, so if it goes and we end it now, I've won. But that's pretty lame in my opinion. I'll just call this a draw, it's easier. Or what they consider no contest. I may yet do that. I have so many ideas that I generate, but it really depends on how things hit me, because as NI goes, it's something that the best way to explain NI is this. You go into the shower not thinking about anything in particular. You're in the shower doing your thing, and then out of nowhere something hits you and you have this idea and it has no clue where it came from. I do have some really interesting ideas for videos. They take time though. Since I started doing comedy sketches, I've been scripting a lot. Scripts take me a little bit of time, unfortunately, because like the example I just gave of the shower, I don't always get hit with the inspiration right when I need it to, but when I do get into it, it's like it just goes. Yeah, and there was one video that I saw that Lijo did where she's working and her phone rings and she doesn't want to be bothered, so she just chucks her phone. And I've been tempted to do that myself because once you're in that zone, you don't want to leave it, because the minute you do is the minute you know that you could potentially lose the idea and you're just done for. Exactly. And because it's unconscious, because NI is handled in the unconscious mind, you have to wait for the puzzle pieces to just eventually fit together. They kind of work together, and then it's where the idea comes from. That's NI in a nutshell. Uh, um, I have never. I'm going to be truthful. I've never done that before. I've only been tempted once or twice. I always answer the phone if it's somebody that I know, because I have that thing where it's like if I don't take care of it immediately, then it's just gonna bother me and then I'm never gonna get anything done. Unfortunately, that's to my detriment, because then, like I said, I get pulled out of the idea and it's so much harder to go back to what you're working on when you've lost the momentum. It's partially, I think, the creative process and how that works. If you're really, really creative, it's like getting lost from the momentum is the absolute detriment to. It's like a bomb going off and just wiping everything out. You're done for. I might. I might sometime. Most of the time, what I'll do when it's somebody. Actually, every time that I don't know who it is, I usually hang up. The worst. The other absolute worst thing is that when I know I'm on a time constraint and I have something else I have to do, and then I hit that flow and the time just is gone, and then I realize what time it is. It's like, why? Why? And then I realize I have to stop, and I hate it because I wanted to keep going and I can't because my time's up, and I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Not necessarily hours, because usually when the inspiration winds up hitting me, I have like an hour or two. I've never actually lost track of time to the extent of complete like half days going by. I've never lost track of time that badly for whatever reason, and I think that partially is either I have my SE trained just enough to pay attention or something. I don't know. Wow. Usually my body says something along the lines of, hey, you have to move or you have to eat or something. Because, in particular, the move part, I have a hard time unless my brain is completely engaged in what I'm doing, just sitting for too long. My body won't let me sit too long. Like, even right now, I've been sitting for over an hour. Yes, you can train your SE. I will say this, that it's something that takes a long time, and it's not something that you can actually perfect, because I find myself, I'll run into things at times, and I'm not talking about just problems I have with my sight. I'm talking about I do stupid klutzy things because I wind up not paying attention kind of stuff. I still do that. There's no, if you have bottom SE, I fully believe that there is no way that you can get around doing klutzy stuff, honestly. No matter how much you work on SE, I do not think that you can get around anything klutzy happening to you. I think it's an impossibility. You can try as hard as you want to get around it, but it's going to happen. And you're welcome. Honestly, yeah. If you have bottom SE, you are predisposed to not, I wouldn't say necessarily not being able to function properly. It's just your brain's wired differently. You're wired in a way that you're not always going to be paying attention to everything around you. It is an impossibility for your brain because you're wired differently. Your brain is geared towards looking at things differently from someone that has SE as their first cognitive function, where they're paying attention to everything and anything and everything around them in the world. And I'm not saying that you can't get a little better, it's just you're never going to get as proficient as someone that has SE as the first cognitive function. It's just impossible. And it's not bad. It's just you're wired differently. Just like they aren't going to come up with ideas randomly the same way that someone that has NI as their top function. NI can get random ideas just out of nowhere because the brain is always functioning in the background, looking for patterns, looking for things that work. It's like, just like INFJs are the personality type that loves to understand people. Well, I wouldn't say loves to understand, but just they understand people and the emotional atmosphere the best. It's partially because NI is picking up on the patterns of the emotional state of others because of how they're wired. Whereas INTJs don't. We aren't wired that way. We aren't wired to understand everything that's going on emotionally around us. And probably the best story that I can give, the best example personally that I can give, is I was at the funeral for my grandfather. And my cousin came up and asked me, "Why aren't you crying?" This whole time at my grandfather's funeral, I wasn't crying. And it's not that I didn't care, it's just that was it. I didn't have to. I didn't have to cry just because everybody else was crying. It wasn't me. I just, yeah. I would say probably the real explanation for it is that the emotions for an FI user don't, they're internalized. So they're not resonating with those around them, the other people around them. And I think that's probably really the best way of putting it. Exactly. We care, but we don't care. Because our emotions are so internalized that that's what we really are focused on. If we're already emotionally past something, then we don't care about necessarily everybody else's emotions. It's kind of like why we can be a rock in the middle of a storm, because the emotions of others aren't really, they're not registering. Not unless we're like really paying attention. But okay, it's going on 9:20 now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and end the live stream in 2 minutes at 9:20. Thank you, Jessica Rose. It's one of those NI things where, you know, you get the idea as you are developing it. It's just like in the back and you finally can spit it out. But it also looks like we've completely lost F. Their phone must have died. But I'm thankful that everyone was able to join me here. Thank you, Jessica Rose. You have a good night too. Thank you, everyone who joined in. And don't forget, Friday nights at 8 o'clock, come join me. I will schedule them 24 hours ahead for the live streams. And as always, please don't forget to subscribe, give this live stream a like, and please consider sharing my other videos. Jessica Rose, I'm glad you were able to make it as well. Thank you for joining me. Again, thank you, and see you next time. Bye.